this fun retro, please?
You make moments like these possible.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Good afternoon, everyone. Shawn, Joyce here with you live from the Saville Shootout presented by Curling Stadium Edmonton. We are here at the Saville Community Sports Center in Edmonton. Women's action on here today. Draw 3 in total. It's draw 2 for the women. And for the game that we're featuring here, we've got Jolene Campbell against Satsuki Fujisawa. And this is the first game of the competition for these two teams. Both were idle this morning. 10-sheet facility here in Edmonton. And I'll talk about this a lot through the weekend just to make sure everybody's aware of what's going on. They're using a staggered start. It's great for the fans, great for the ice makers. A little confusing when you're looking online. The 5 of the games start right now. The other 5 games listed at this time, draw time, will be starting at about 4:30 local time, so in about an hour and a half. And that works out great so that no matter when you log on, there's going to be 5 games underway. We don't have any of that downtime in between draws where nobody's playing. First end action underway here. Two teams have a practice session before the game and draw the button for last rock in the opening end of play. It was the Fujisawa team winning that draw to the button. They've got the last rock here. Eureka Yoshida is the lead, throws up the corner guard. They do play the 5-3 guard zone in all events nowadays, and I think the no-tick zone is played in most everything, certainly at this level. But you can make a play on your own stones. Rachel Erickson throws the second stones for Jolene Campbell. With the brush down, that is, I believe, Dana Demons, the lead. Can't have two lead. You can't have two blondes sweeping. It's hard for me to see them on the screen. But yes, that's Dana with the glasses. Abby Ackland is the third. The lead I mentioned earlier for the Fujisawa team is Eureka Yoshida. This is the second, Yumi Suzuki. The third is Shinami Yoshida. And the skip, Satsuki Fujisawa. Looking for the come around here. A lot of room by the guard, but such an amazing amount of late finish here. The Saville Center. We saw this in the 2 games this morning as well. A lot of room by the guard, and that's dead buried. It is a little deep. Chance for Rachel to come sit on top of it. Get shot rock in behind cover. A little bit of a different lineup this year for Jolene Campbell. 3 of these girls were together last year, but Rachel Erickson, I believe, living in Manitoba, but has birthright in Saskatchewan, or maybe it's the other way around. I can't remember. They were playing out of Manitoba last year anyway. They have made a change this year. Dana Demons in at lead, living in the northern part of the province. So with 3 of the girls having Saskatchewan birthright, Abby Ackland now becomes the import. Jolene was the import last year. And they will be playing out of Saskatchewan this year. Again, a lot of room by the guard. You will see some teams try to sweep for a little extra curl there, but they knew that was already going to be tight to the tee line. Didn't want to slip to the back. Get a quarter of it underneath cover. First thought from Jolene is to play the run back. Might be able to see enough if she wanted to play the across the face doubles. Just go at it directly, but you'd be hitting about half a rock or less, and you'd lose the shooter. Chance here is just right to lose something in play, but boy, that's not the thing you wanted to miss it. Drives it by both of the red stones in the rings. Early chance here for Fujisawa to put some pressure on. Looking to come around that yellow stone that was just thrown, get about half under cover. Provide some protection to the two reds in the rings as well. Just like this in the 12-foot. Quick hand gesture on the release might indicate she was just a little bit inside, so they jumped the hoop early to hold it. You know it's going to move at the end. By the front one. It's going to end up dead buried, but that does leave an opportunity for Jolene to make a double attempt on the two stones in the 4-foot. And if you were to ever cross the face just a little bit, you'd probably go behind cover. Now, you won't get both of them if you do that, but it might be more important to keep your shooter behind cover here. Sweeping for curl now, wants to make sure she catches the second stone. It's going to try to fly. And the shooter will roll past the guard and out into the open. Does stay for second shot. Fujisawa looking to make a play on it. She'd like to roll back behind the corner guard. Sweeping for every bit of curl can get just to try to hold the shooter up there. It starts to move up. Makes the hit. She will roll into the edge of the 12-foot. Fujisawa sitting 3 with last rock here in the opening end. Does give Jolene another chance to make a play on shot rock, try to roll behind cover. Opting for the in-turn, but I think the indication was they're going to try to come over the top and roll in behind the yellow-red on the right-hand side. The thrower looks at it. Swooping for every last bit of curl. This is close. She's got the hit. She's got the roll, and actually, if anything, almost overrolled. Jolene was the one at the back, sweeping, calling whoa. She could see that roll was going plenty far enough. Left a sliver of it. Satsuki is going to make a play on it. There, I was waiting for the broom to go down. It doesn't look like they're throwing a lot of weight. She doesn't need to move it very far to make sure she's shot rock. Maybe looking at making a play on her own. Or that could be a plan B too. She's throwing this very quietly. If she just rubs her own, she could sit shot third and fourth, and that stone at the back would be accessible. They're on the brush on this right away. Boy, they're going to have to go to get by the guard. And with that weight, if she's on the guard, she could put it into the ring. She's going to be on the guard. It's a question of how thick now. Didn't really have the weight she needed. Jolene's first thought was to throw the guard up. I think if you throw the guard, you'll see Fujisawa try one of those angle run-ins for 3 because she's only facing 1. So I think your best guard here might be second shot. Looking at making a play on the third stone as well. Try to roll in for second. Certainly, this is a good way to reduce the risk. Because right now, there's a risk of 3. If you don't get the roll here, Fujisawa might make a tap back on her own stone in the 8-foot, try to get 2 that way. Final stone of the first end here for Jolene Campbell without last rock. Looking for the hit and roll in. Try to sit 2. Got the hit. Gets a bit of a roll. I think it's enough. Looks like she does, in fact, sit 2. And now that leaves just the draw for Satsuki Fujisawa, and it's not an easy draw. There's a port to negotiate. Satsuki Fujisawa, her final stone of the first end. Facing 2 Jolene Campbell counters. Needs to make it through a port, and any bite of the 4-foot would give her the single point here. She's going to run out there for a while, and it will move big at the end, but she does have to get off of her own stone. Line looks to be nice now. It actually rubs off her own stone. Might have needed that rub to slow down. Catches a corner of the button, and she will pick up her single point. Fujisawa with 1 here in the opening end. Jolene Campbell will have last rock in the second.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss. But it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
An outstanding facility here in Edmonton, the Saville Curling Center, 10 sheets. Reminder again, they're using a split draw, so 5 sheets in a 3 o'clock draw. Started play already here in the afternoon. The other 5 games listed for 3 o'clock will be starting in a little while yet. I've seen it a few times in recent years. I love it. It's great for the fans because there's no downtime. It actually works good for the ice crew too. And even here, it works good in that you know that whenever you log on, there's going to be a game coming on. It's just a little confusing because the technology wasn't set up to do a split draw on the software. So they all show as a 3 o'clock start. This rock really curling towards the guard. No tick zone rule is in play. Now that's the kind of tick you can get away from. Get away with, though. She did touch the guard on the way back, but as long as it does not leave the center line, that is a legal shot. Had she removed it from the center line, and we did see that a couple of times already in earlier draws today. That stone would have been removed, and the guard goes back. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that a few times this weekend with the amount of late movement that there is here. You can get a rock that looks like it's got a ton of room by the guard, and if you're not right there ready to jump the sweep when it starts to move, you could crash the guard very easily, and we've already seen it. They look like they've got lots of room, but they're going to move. Makes the hit on the shot stone, stays right there. Jolene asking Dana Demons to simply ignore that stone, make the come around to the top of the 4 foot. Pressure's working this one for weight. Needed a bite of the 4 foot to be shot rock. It does come, well, half to 2/3 behind cover. Half, let's call it half. But shot rock remains the red stone belonging to Fujisawa at the back of the 8 foot. She'll look to throw the guard. Inside Brusher has been on this all the way down. Does get by the guard. Will come sit right on the face of that yellow stone. Nudges it up a little bit. Still is the red stone at the back of the 8 foot belonging to Fujisawa that is shot rock. Not liking that guard where it is. She looked at playing the hit and roll over to the corner. The best result, if you could make it, is pretty much straight back, kill the 2 reds, and leave your own stone on the top of the 8 foot guarded. But there is some risk with that. There's enough risk with that Abby Ackland's going to make her way down. They're not sure they want to take that chance this early. We don't have mics directly on the players, but as you can hear, there are mics on the cameras, so we do pick up some of the sounds. Certainly it helped with picking up the sweep calls. You can tell just how urgently they need to go for line and such, but it does make it a little more difficult when we're trying to guess what they're talking about with those particular shots. They opt for the straight back, and Rachel Erickson makes the double on the Reds. Does leave her shooter in front of that second shot stone. Looking to make a play on that yellow, pointed at her foot. I'm going to guess that's about hack weight. Again, inside brush her down early. Now switching off, looking for some curl. Going to be by the front one. Catches a piece. Will remove the yellow, and does the shooter hang around? Well, a little spin back at the end, and it will stay full 12 foot. Fujisawa sits 2 for the time being. Campbell looking for the come around. Rachel Erickson. Oh, and we have a little bit of a fall there. And just enough that she touches that rock. So that is a burnt stone, and that will come off. That is a bad break for the Campbell team. And it does happen once in a while. Of course, this is the first event of the season for these ladies, and there's always a little time involved in getting your feet back under you on the ice. It's a little different walking on ice than it was walking around on the beach all summer. Kitami Yoshida looking to capitalize on that break they were just given. Felt like she might have been a little light, jumped up to help with the sweep herself. We do bring it into the 12 foot. Might have liked it a little bit deeper. Leaves room for Abby Ackland now to try to come around from the out turn. Through by the guard, but I'm not sure she's going to get by the stone in the 12 foot. Well, really didn't have the weight either. Satsuki taking a look around, and I love it when they point for us because sometimes it's hard to tell. So it is the red stone on the side that's third. So going back to that in-turn side, looking for the come around again with a chance to sit 4. just a little light on her last shot. If she can adjust about 4 or 5 feet more out of her hand would be good. Brushers waited to about the halfway point. Now they've picked it up. Got room, but you know this is going to move again. Comes to rest, side of the button. Didn't move quite as much as I thought it would, but she does have a piece under the guard. So the hand signal on that one was the stomach for the weight. I don't know if that means she ate too much. I don't know how much weight is. I ate too much weight. Makes the hit. Would like to have caught the back one. Our shooter does come across and take that one out of the side. Stays for second shot as well. That's important because it might prevent Fujisawa from trying to bring another one in. I don't know if she's going to be willing to ignore a second shot. She's thinking about it. Dangerous if you leave a double. Does have a couple of ways she can make this. They talked about touching their own as well. Sit on the corner of your own. She can't really get to the back one. If you move it 3 or 4 inches, you're still probably sitting 2. There's the gesture again, and I'm not sure whether that's what they're playing all the way or if that's the plan B. Like they're coming by it. Now sweeping for curl. She'd like to bury a piece. Satsuki just a little bit less weight than Shinami had. Does again get to the edge of the guard. But if she would have had that same 1.5 foot more weight, she would have buried a little farther on that one. Probably still enough room for Jolene to make the double. She made a couple of great hits and rolls in the first end to get out of trouble and set up the force. She can make a double here. She might still have a chance to pick up the deuce of her own in this second end. Great job by the brushers to hold the line. Gets it by the red at the top of the 12-foot, but jams the stone at the back 4. So it is still Fujisawa sitting 1. Second and third, however, belong to Campbell. And really pretty dangerous to try to make a play on second shot rock. They're looking at hitting the third shot stone. very similar to the situation we saw an end ago with Jolene Campbell playing a hit and roll off the last stone. She hit fourth rock or shot, I believe it was, and rolled into the edge of the 8-foot. Problem for Fujisawa here is that those rocks are kind of close together and they're all on the same side. If she plays the hit and rolls in far enough to be sitting 2, she might leave a raised double for 2. So I think what she's looking at now is guarding the Yellowstone so that Jolene can't tap it up. Try to get 2 or 3 that way. These are tough guards to throw in the third end of your first game of the season, first game of an event. She's got to go so wide. You know that the movement is late, so it's going to look like it's out there a long ways, most of the way down the ice. Can't afford to over-curl. Staying close to it, but really just cleaning at this point. That's what I was talking about. It still looks like it's a long ways out there. You have to trust that it's going to move at the end. And there it goes. Really nice shot. Well-placed guard. Jolene Campbell with no choice now. Play the draw on the other side of the sheet. She needs full 4-foot for her single point. Nice thing for Jolene here with the not a late finish. She really doesn't have to be too close to those 2 stones at the top of the 12-foot to get a solid piece of the 4-foot. Rusher's staying close, picking it up a little more now. Looks nice at the hog line. Now it's a question of whether or not she's got the weight. They had to wait for it to start the curl. And I don't know if they're going to get it there. Comes up just a little bit short. It'll be a steal of 1 for Satsuki Fujisawa. He takes a 2-0 lead here over Jolene Campbell after 2 ends of play.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind from pre-seed to post-harvest. You can count on the Victory Canola program to keep you and your farm ahead of the curve. Grow with us at victorycanola.com.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Third end underway here. Fujisawa after the steal of one in the second. Now leading by a score of 2-0. Brought the first stone of the end into the house, but slid deep to the back of the 8-foot. Campbell throws the corner guard. We'll try again to get one into the top of the house. Eureka Yoshida. Deep on her first attempt. Good job by the Brushers to bring that into the top 12-foot this time. Campbell will ignore those two and ask Dana to make the come around on the corner guard. It's probably 3/4, maybe 7/8 under cover. It is only third shot, but it's more important right now that it be buried. Fujisawa to make a play on it. Has to be extra careful here. This is still just the 5th stone of the end. So that corner guard is a free guard. If you happen to clip it on the way by and it touched the divider, it would go back. Early indication from the Brushers this might be a little strong. Back and forth on which sweeper needs to go here. It's starting to curl. It's by the front one, but only just rubs the stone at the top of the rings, moves it, but leaves it in play, and it looks to be still biting. Her shooter comes across and jams on the stone at the back, so it is still Fujisawa sitting 2, but I do believe that Campbell has a biter on the corner of the 12-foot. She's looking to make a play now on the stone at the top 12 and roll to the edge of the house on the open side. Not really worried about making the double at this point. Boy, this is curling hard. This is they're going to have to go to plan B now, and they're going to have to sweep just for that. Now over curls, just touches the stone, moves it over about 1.5 feet, but loses the shooter as well. Yumi Suzuki looking to hit and roll undercover, set 3. And this is going to run a little straight. She will kill the Yellowstone, but loses the shooter. Well, after moving that red stone at the top of the house over a little bit with her last stone, Rachel Erickson now being asked to play the freeze on the back one since it is equipped. I'll try to set up the roof this way. Swooping for every bit of curl they can get here. Just a little strong. Rubs off that stone. Comes to rest in the back 12, but it is third shot. Fujisawa will look to remove that stone. Probably doesn't want to stay right there. She'd start to leave a pocket. It needs to roll over here a little bit. Rolling out is fine. Rolling out is what they're going to get. Chance for Abby Ackman now to play the freeze. They did roll that or move that red stone at the back over just a little bit, so now she's dead on the face, but I don't think they can get at it from the other turn to try to blast it out. This one's getting a little tight to that center line earlier. This is plan B now. They realize they're not going to get the line for the back one, so they don't want to oversweep it and not be shot rock. She actually buried behind the stone at the top of the 8-foot. And does stop in time to be shot rock. Looking for the short run back on their own stone at the top of the 8-foot. Has to stay on the broom side. Doesn't want to double jam this. Enough to get it out, but it does kind of let Jolene off the hook here. She's got a chance now to play a hit on the only stone remaining in the rings, and at the very least, she should have a chance to blank this end. Abby Ackman will look for the long roll, though. If she can get in behind the corner, still a chance for 2 here. It's going to be close. Makes the hit. Wow, is that any good? Makes a hit on a rock, a foot on the other side of the center line, rolls to the edge of the 12-foot, so about a 7-foot roll to get behind the corner guard. Looks like Satsuki's first thought is she can see a little piece from the out turn. She could try to pick it out. She'd lose her shooter. You know that Jolene will try to come around if you do that. The other option, and I think It's Shinami Yoshida that likes the intern come around to try to freeze on the corner. Both shots can be made on this ice. It will give you both shots, but I think what this might come down to, why the other three players like the draw, is this is only the first game of the competition. You've had your pregame practice and a couple of ends. You've seen a lot more draws than you have wide takeouts. So the Brushers and the Broom Holder win on this one. They probably feel that they know this path better than what they would know that wide hit. Brushers pick it up pretty early. And both brushes down, going at a fair clip, so they must think they need to go for weight. Room by the guard, but with the amount of late finish, if she overcurls it, the yellow would still be shot rock. And it does come up just a little bit short. Probably takes away any thought Jolene Campbell might have had about coming around again to try to sit three. You'd hate to leave them grouped to leave a double, and by the time she gets by that red, she's not going to have a lot of room left to bury, so she's just going to draw the open side. Fujisawa will make a play on this stone, and Jolene will have her chance for two. And can tie things up here after 3 ends of play. Brusher staying close, but really just cleaning at this point in time. She'd like to be T-line or maybe a little back of the tee. Well, the Brushers have stood right up now. Is this going to stop at all? Didn't look like they thought it was heavy, but it will slide right through the back. Well, another chance now for Fujisawa. Basically the same shot she just played, although she'll have to go a little bit wider to get around the one she just threw. Brush is not down this time, and indicating it might be a little strong. Probably thought she needed to throw a little bit more weight, but with taking more ice, she was a little bit more down the middle. She might have been down a better path, and it slides through the back as well. Opportunities handed back and forth here in this third end. And when the dust clears, Jolene Campbell with a chance to draw for two needs just about any bite of the paint. And he has to beat out that red nibbler at the top of the 12-foot. She can pick up her deuce here and tie the game. And boy, this didn't look like it was going to be an end and 2-point end until Abby Ackland made that great hit and roll with her last one. Little deep, drawing to the corner with her first one. This is a more known path for the teams. Coming towards the middle. Rushers pick it up early. Just cleaning now as it comes into the top of the house. She will pull it into the half of the button. Put 2 points on the board for Jolene Campbell. We're all tied up at 2 apiece after 3 ends of play here from the Saville Shootout in Edmonton.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
All tied up, 2 apiece here from the Saville Shootout as we begin play in the 4th end. Jolene Campbell with a nice draw on her final stone to pick up the deuce. So here throwing first in the 4th end, asking Dana Demmons to make the center guard and sweeping at the end just to try to get it back to the center line. That's important because of the no tick zone. So there would be the opportunity here if Fujisawa wanted to play it to try the tick. She's going to opt to throw the corner guard here. This is where I wish we had player mics. There was a lengthy discussion there from the Campbell team at the hog line. And of course, in the last end, her first stone, granted, throwing to the corner, slid through the back. The second one, they had to work it a little bit, but it did get to the tee line. Don't know whether that's the issue, whether they were wondering if her 2 stones were matched or if it's something else. I already had a game that I was calling earlier today where one of the teams was switching around 1 stone to throw it in a particular spot. Not such an important skill these days is to be able to manage your stones. If you've got one that maybe you think curls a little bit more or slides a little bit differently, you've got to decide when you want to throw it. And be aware that you might have to sweep it just a little bit differently. Come around, peeks out just a little bit. So they're going to make a play at it. Now, this is one of those situations where because that stone isn't on the center line, if she does touch it on the way by, as long as she doesn't kill it, it is a legal shot. Eureka Yoshida, they're going to have to go to get this by the guard for sure. Not going to get by, but with that quiet wait and the fact that it wasn't on the center line, that essentially acts like a tick shot, and it's perfectly all right. That's a good example right there of why it's so important to get those stones positioned where you want them on the first one. Had that stone been on the center line, that shot wouldn't have been allowed. Peeking at the chat as much as I can. Now we've got quite a widespread audience for this one. As you might expect, we've got a number of viewers from Japan. We want to thank you for joining us. Not sure about the time difference. Can't be early there. I think I just saw somebody out of Michigan. We've got viewers from all over the world. Rachel Erickson with a nice guard, so looking to run the double now. Guard onto the stone in the rings. We'll drive it by the rings, and shoot will roll all the way at play. Rachel Erickson will look to put that guard back. Covers that shot stone, actually just maybe a little bit higher this time even, so any attempt at the run back would be even tougher. Satsuki feels like perhaps they've got enough room now, though, to come by the guard and make a play directly on shot rock. It's got to be quiet. You know these shots are possible on this ice. It's all a question of matching the weight up to the broom. It'll hold for the longest time and then really go from the hog line in. It's a nice shot. You have to trust everything there. Trust that it's going to curl. Throw the right weight. Because it doesn't look like a lot of ice when they put the broom down, but you know it's going to hold for the longest time. A break point very late on this Saville Center ice. And big late finish. But if you look at that tight broom and think, oh, I better throw a little bit more weight, you up the weight a little bit and it might not move at all. Abby Ackland with the hit stays right there. So Fujisawa asking for the come around on the corner guard. This is Shinami Yoshida. Looks like lots of room here, but with the big movement in it, it's bigger towards the middle than it is going away. But this hole is not as big as it might look from the hacks, because with the finish being so late, you're going to be close to the outside guard if you're going to get by the tighter one. All right, she's got a nice line coming in. Now it's all a question of the weight. Boy, what a well-thrown stone. Navigates the port easily. Dead berries just in front of the tee line. All Abby Ackland's got the straight back run back on her own tight corner guard. Mind you, if you can make this, you can put the pressure right back on the other side. Boy, that made a jump on them. They were just a little on the outside. When it moved, they couldn't get the brushes down fast enough. Clips the stone, but rolls it out of play. Shooter rolled back towards the center line. That actually helps Campbell a little bit. That same draw opportunity not really there for Shinami Yoshida. She'd have to make a different attempt to get something behind cover here. Fujisawa, I think, looked like she laid out the options and was waiting for some input from the other end. Which one do we want to play? They've opted to come with the wide in-turn around the center guard. We were on it a little bit early. Now they've gone back a little bit. Off and on. It kind of looks like the sweepers want to go, but they were waiting for it to curl, and it looks like it's got plenty of weight. Boy, that's a nice shot. Brought it right into the top of the forefoot. It is dead buried. Don't think Jolene's going to be able to see a slither of that from the axe for either turn. Might be easier to go after it from the out turn. Because that guard is so long and because there's such good late finish here, you can probably throw enough weight to kill this red stone. Delicate shot here for Jolene Campbell with her first stone here in the fourth end. Moving early. Needs to get by the guard. Just going to rub it now with that quiet weight that she's got. Comes across, touches her own guard, pushes it up into the 12-foot. Might not have had the weight she needed. If she gets by, I'm not sure she pushes that stone very far. She only just rubbed the 2 guards. Still, by rubbing the guard over, that shot stone is at least mostly exposed right now. Fujisawa doesn't have an obvious place to go with a second one. They're looking at coming towards the stone that was just the shot stone, the stone they just played. Probably from the other turn, though, I think. They can come down to the face of it, tap it back just a little bit, kind of get that Christmas tree effect. Doesn't need to move it very far. In fact, there's actually room to get, again, that Christmas tree effect we talk about, the stagger. There's room to get it by stopping in front of it. She'd still be sitting 2. She just wants to get about half in behind cover here. Haven't been a lot of shots played where they're trying to cross center like this. So you see them initially put the broom down just outside the edge of the 8-foot. And the discussion there would have been, well, this is probably where we put the broom to get the centers, but if we got to get across it, we need to cut it down about this amount. Two all as we play here in the 4th. Satsuki Fujisawa was her first. This needs to curl. She threw the weight for the tap, and it's running a little straight on her. Touches the yellow stone. Comes across, does sit buried to sit 2. Might have accomplished the purpose. The question is, can Jolene see enough of the red on the outside to play the double? It doesn't look like a lot. Her first thought was make a play on shot rock, try to roll behind the corner. Not playing with a very big piece of ice there to stay shot rock buried, but it's there. The double's probably just there, but it's a tough shot. And the risk is you're giving up 3 if you rub the guard. Jolene went all the way down to take a look from the hacks at what she could see, and I think she's opting for the hit and roll. It was her first thought. She actually made a couple of great hits and rolls in the first end to get the force. And it was Adiyaki with a great hit and roll in the last end to set up the deuce. So the team has done well with these rolls so far in this game. Looking to make the hit on shot rock, try to roll across and underneath their own stone at the top of the 8-foot. Hit shot rock. Sweeping for a little bit of curl. She's got the hit. Now, how far will it roll? It's going to roll just a little bit too far. Fujisawa already sitting one will have the chance to draw for two. Now just a few questions in their mind because of that last stone running so straight on them. And I'll tell you what, I haven't seen this yet. It may be a little cold in the Saville Center. Satsuki Fujisawa has thrown another jacket on. Rushers haven't really touched this one. Now they're standing up a little bit straight. Will come to rest, though, in the back of the button. Satsuki Fujisawa picks up a deuce here in the fourth end. She'll take a 4-2 lead over Jolene Campbell into the fourth end.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
4 ends in the books here. Opening game for these two teams in the Saville Shootout. 20 teams in each of the men's and women's division, playing in 4 pools of 5. That'll be the top teams in each division. Top 8 teams in each division advancing to the playoffs on Monday. We will have all of the round robin action for you, as well as the playoff draw, quarters, semis, and finals on Monday. So stay with us all weekend. A lot of action coming up. Great way to start the season. Fujisawa with a 2-point lead after that deuce she picked up in the 4th end. I didn't see the call. I would assume that they tried to get the first one into the rings. Comes up just short. It is on the center line. I don't think it was going to matter where it ended up. I think Jolene Campbell was always going to call for the corner guard. And now for Eureka Yoshida, a chance to come around. Tight line coming by, but they do get it by the guard. Having to sweep to get it by, it does slide to the back of the forefoot. If anything, just out a little bit on the other side. Jolene's first thought was to try to come around it from the side she could see. I think it came from the other end. We'd like to follow it. Same turn. We just saw it. Comes down, touches that stone on the way by. Now it was on the center line, so it's no tick zone. Quick look at overhead. It looks like it's probably still touching the center line. If it does, that shot is perfectly legal. Had it moved a little bit farther, though, the shooter would be removed and that stone would go back. Look at it from the overhead. Boy, that is just still touching the line. Yellowstone did come into the 12-foot. Yumi Suzuki can make a play on it now. Makes the hit, stays right there. So Rachel Erickson with a chance now to make the hit, try to roll behind the corner guard. And if you get the roll behind the corner guard, you're going to be awfully close to making the double on the stone at the back of the forefoot. They were on the brush early. Have to hold this line to get the roll. Not able to get the roll and just passes it by the stone at the back of the forefoot as well. Shooter is biting. So Fujisawa going to make a play on it. He will look to roll back towards the center line area. Makes the hit. Rolls across and does hang on to the top of the 12-foot. Doesn't quite overlap those two, but it does protect the stone at the back of the 4-foot. Pretty close together with the two stones at the front, though, for an attempt at the double. Probably could hold your shooter on the corner as well. Rachel Erickson with the double. Does keep her shooter in play. Shot stone continues to be the red stone belonging to Fujisawa at the back of the 4-foot. Two yellow guards belong to Jolene Campbell. Third stones now, Shinami Yoshida looking to come around. He's got a lot of room. Probably gets about a quarter of it in behind cover. Lighting the top of the 4-foot, sitting 2. Jolene's first thought is to play the run double. If she doesn't think they can see enough of it from the other side to just come at it directly. So you're probably right. You certainly wouldn't want to flirt with the guard on the way by anyway. There's a couple of ways this can work out really good for you. This is close. Makes the hit, catches the stone at the top, catches the stone at the back, makes the two reds go away. Now it's Jolene Campbell sitting 1, although it is out in the open. Pretty greedy to ask for the run double and stay buried. Yoshida with the hit, rolls over, a corner behind cover. Abby Ackland going to take another pass at the run back. This time she'll have to cross it just a sliver, try to run the yellow back onto the red. Your shooter will roll a little bit towards center. It is possible to roll them both together and leave it buried. Drives it back, sticks the run back, but the shooter rolls across to the center line. So Fujisawa again looking for the hit and roll behind cover. She'll make the hit, but this time rolls too far, all the way out of play. So Jolene Campbell with a chance to set up what some people like to call the skip's deuce. She can make a good come around here on her first one. Might have a chance to pick up a deuce on her second. Brushers picked it up early, but just cleaning. Got to wait for that line. You know it's going to finish, but it'll ride out there for a long time. Starting to curl now. Boy, it's just outside that set, outside the hog line. They really make a big move. They actually lose that. It rubs the guard. Will come into the rings for shot rock in the 8-foot, but it is completely open. Probably enough room for Fujisawa to try to roll under cover as well. On the brush early. Got to make sure they're by. At the end, you can go for the roll. And there, they take the offside sweep at the end just to try to get that last little bit of finish. Gets the nose hit. Shot stone is wide open. Jolene Campbell will have a chance to play the hit. Simply roll out of play, blank the end, keep last rock into the 6th. Final stone on the way here. Jolene Campbell looking for the blank here, and then number 5 on the brush right away. She gets the hit. Rachel Erickson ready to try to sweep the roll, but I think it's going to hang on for a bite. Jolene Campbell gets a single point she didn't really want there. Does close to within 4-3, but it'll be Satsuki Fujisawa with last rock once again in the 6th.
What do you got? You got 1, you got 2, yeah!
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Jolene Campbell with a chance to blank the fifth end, not able to roll out of play, so picks up the single. Here as we begin play in the sixth end, it is Fujisawa with a 4-3 lead. She'll also have last rock here. Dana Demons looking to play the center guard. We saw this once earlier in the game where Dana had a little trouble getting that rock all the way back to the center line and leaves it just a little off center, so that rock can be ticked. Fujisawa is going to call the come around. But even at that, this is one of those situations where she can afford to tight ice it a little bit, because if you touch that on the way by, there's no penalty. Well, that really curled hard on them. Ends up coming right to the face of the Yellowstone. So early opportunity here for the Campbell team here in this sixth end, needing to steal. They've got two center guards already, a chance to throw a third one. And in the 5-rock free guard zone, pretty tough for Fujisawa to do anything about any of them for a little while yet. We'll probably have to try the come around again. This one's getting tighter to that center line early. Where did she pull the string on this one? She was awfully tight to the rings on the last one. And this one's going to stop on the wrong side of the hog line. So that stone will be removed. Fujisawa looking to make a play on the red guard. Safest play is to play the split on it. Try to push the red into the rings and roll the shooter to the corner. Even if this were to over curl and you nose it, yes, you push the yellow into the rings, but you push it over to the edge so it wouldn't be buried. Eureka Yoshida with a really nice tap. Puts her stone into the corner of the 12-foot and rolls the shooter well off the center line as well. Rachel Erickson will try to throw up a longer center guard now. Does get the guard up. Fujisawa asking for a play on the tighter guard. You come across and catch the red off that. And if it happens to overcurl and just rub the top one, that's fine. She'll kill it. Tough to make a straight peel attempt on the top one. There's too many things for it to jam on. Gets the back one, passes it by everything. Her shooter rolls out of play as well. Another guard attempt for Rachel Erickson. This time she'll be looking to get it a little tighter, but she'd like to leave it dead lined up to the stone she delivered with her first one. like to put Fujisawa in a situation where if she wants to peel a guard, she's got to go after the top one because there are potential jams on both sides for it. Boy, had nice line coming in, just needed another couple of feet of weight. Probably a double peel available now, a little bit of angle. Not a lot of separation. Try to hit this about 3/4 to 7/8 high over the top of the second one. Don't know whether she could completely lose the shooter, but she'd get it off the center line as well. She out through the camera operator. When the dust clears, still one yellow guard out front. Shot rock now in the corner of the button. It is open and a chance for Jolene Campbell to make the hit and roll undercover. It's Abby Ackland, pardon me, still throwing her last one. She had come down to take a look at the situation. This really curled on them. Not able to get by the guard. Had they gotten by, I think they go right through. I don't think they would have made contact with the stone in the rings at all. Well, this is a huge problem for Campbell now. Chance for the Fujisawa team to bring another stone in behind the corner guard. It's going to be real tough for Jolene Campbell to not give up at least two here. Not a good situation when you're already down one playing the sixth end of an 8-end game. We did see a couple of draw attempts earlier in the game going towards the corner, wide deep. But no mistake here. Puts it right at the top of the tee line. About half in behind cover. Jolene really only has two chances here. She's got to either make this hit that she's looking at. She could try to follow that last stone down, sit on the inside corner of it, but if you make it, you're still only second shot and you're flirting with giving up three. Makes the hit, stays right there. Fujisawa will ask for the nose hit now. You've got the option again. She could try to roll to the open side a little bit farther, but if she rolls too far, it would make that corner freeze behind the guard a little more attractive for Jolene Campbell. You don't want to roll center line side, might leave a double. It's not going to be easy. It might be there. Jolene's going to give it a go. Even if she just rolls over towards that stone, might have a chance for a double on her last one. You see Abby cleaning the path. If they can come over and nudge it, she'd like to get it all the way out. Jolene certainly doesn't have any problem throwing the weight to throw this shot. Makes the hit, rolls it across, comes to the corner of it. Boy, is that any good. Didn't make the double, but she stays on the corner of it. And that's a real tough stone for Fujisawa to get out. She can make a play on it. There's room to get over the top of the yellow. It probably moves that red stone, but that might not be the worst thing. Certainly it's a much more delicate shot than it looked like she was going to be playing here, though. And I said before she threw it that Jolene Campbell can throw the weight to make that shot. And she certainly can, but the other thing to remember is, can she throw the weight to make that shot on September the 6th? Not really in mid-season form yet. What a great roll, though. Don't know that she could have thrown it any better. Satsuki Fujisawa with her first stone here. Rushers pick it up fairly early. He wants to get just across that yellow stone now, sweeping for curl. Maybe overswept it early. They're going to lose their own stone, and the yellow doesn't leave the rings. A little bit of a panic on the sweep. They didn't want to get too tight to the guards. Leaves the yellow in the back of the 8-foot. Her shooter is shot rock, but Jolene can make a play on it. So a chance here to sit two and at the very least get the force out of the Fujisawa team. I think if she rolled over far enough to cover the back one, a nose hit would probably score the point. So she might want to leave the shooter right there. Force the draw against two. You don't expect her to miss it, but stranger things have happened. Has to hold the shooter. Makes the hit, does kill the redstone, but the yellow is going to roll out a play as well, and that gives Fujisawa a chance to blank this sixth end. Just a slight miscue there, but it does let Fujisawa off the hook a little. Inside Brusher picked it up early, has stayed on it all the way down. She'll clip about half, roll the shooter out of play. We've got a blank end here in end number 6. Fujisawa with a 1-point lead over Jolene Campbell after 6 ends of play, and she'll have last rock again in the 7th.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Fujisawa with a 1-point lead over Jolene Campbell as we begin play here on the 7th end. And Fujisawa does have last rock here. Didn't see how that happened, but you see the Campbell rock in the back corner. That was the stone thrown by Dana Demmons, and she did have a stone hog blast, and you have to assume she was probably throwing a long guard, and it came up short again. I can't imagine she threw one all the way through the back. Eureka Yoshida with the corner guard. Now Dana Demmons will try once again to throw up the center. No problem this time. It is a tighter guard. Fujisawa looking to come around her corner now. Puts it fully in front of the tee line and in behind cover on the corner. Rachel Erickson now being asked to throw the long center guard. Scoreboard dictated really a little bit for the Campbell team that they've got to play a bit aggressively this end. They don't want to see another blank. Center guard over curls, though. It gives them a chance to go after the tighter one. Looking for every bit of curl they could get. A little thin. Comes across, kills their own shot stone. The shooter will stay at the back of the 12-foot. Probably helps the Campbell team a little bit. Another rock in the middle. Potentially they could get a jam on. Gets rid of that rock on the corner that was going to be difficult for them to deal with. Looking for the come around here. The Brushers are on this. Doesn't have to be in, but she definitely wants to be buried on that longer guard and tighter to the rings than that. With a double opportunity there, there's probably a chance that it could come over and catch the red corner guard, end up into the ring. Because of that, they're not going to play at the double. They're just going to play the wheel on the stone that was just delivered. They can afford to be a little thin on the first one, and then their shooter might come in off that red stone on the corner. Just going to go across the top and try to play. So another chance here for the come around, and not looking to get really deep here. This could be just a tight guard. I wouldn't mind myself seeing this just like the 12-foot, though. If there's a chance later on in the end, you might like to make them look at two so they're at least forced to a single. You don't want to give them a blank opportunity. And the way these rocks move around the middle, you could bite the 12-foot here easily and still use it guard later on. Looks like she's got a nice line. Just want to make sure you get lots of separation on those two now. Nami Yoshida had made her way down to take a look at the situation, and I think the indication was they're still going to make a play on the double. Double peel. She'll leave her shooter out there if she makes it, but it'll be a long guard. And early sweeping from the offside, trying to get some curl. They're not getting the double for sure. Just touches the long one. Leaves it there. The indication from Fujisawa was it might have been just a little backwards motion on the release. Well, for Campbell, a chance now to come around. Potentially still set up a steal here. At the very least, she'd like to get a force. She doesn't want to see a blank. Really moving now. Might be just a little bit light. Now we're at the point in the end where it's getting tough for Fujisawa to really make all the guards go away. If you can't make them go away, then maybe you should get around them first. That's the thinking here. This one has got a lot of room. They've switched the sweepers already to try to get a little bit more curl. But it's a little strong as well, and they didn't want to sweep it behind the tee line. Comes to rest, it is shot rock just in the top half of the button. Jolene looking at moving that stone. I know you want to score, but you don't have to do it on this shot. I like the freeze. Put it in a spot where she can't get rid of it. She's called the front end down. They're going to talk about this. If you tap it back, you expect that Fujisawa is going to play to pick your stone out with her first, and then you can play a freeze on the back one. If you freeze this one, I think probably their concern is that Fujisawa just guards it, and then you're going to have to let her score one. It'd be really tough for her to score two if you make the freeze. The way these rocks finish and with the room she's put down, if she's just, back button, back 4 foot weight here, she could possibly get to the inside of that rock. She might not nudge it back far enough to be shot rock, but the shooter might scoot in behind cover. Rushers will have to make a quick call on the weight here. One brush down, but just cleaning. Line's close. We're going with the offside sweep now to get extra curl. She'll get to the nose, taps it straight back. Campbell sitting shot rock, but it is mostly open. Fujisawa thinking she can play this quietly enough to pass it by the two stones at the back and still hold her edge of the 8 foot. Rushing early to hold line. Has to be on the outside enough to pass it by the two reds at the back, and does. Leaves her shooter, corner to the 8 foot. About as good as she could have done with it. If Jolene was to try to draw to the front of the house now, she might be able to come off of her own. Jolene looking at freezing on the back one, which would get her the force. Very similar shot to her first one. If anything, she needs to have just a little bit less weight out of her hand. I'd like to be able to sweep it into place for the freeze. Now they've gone to plan B now. They're not going to get to the back one, so they're going to try to bury it. Buried in the top 4. And now there might be a chance for the steal. She did get it buried. Fujisawa wondering if she can see any of it, and I don't think she can. Your choices are draw for 1. You could try the slash in on the red corner guard, but there's a lot of room between those. That's a tough shot. It's only a single point if you give it up. This is not a gimme to score your one either. She's going to score one. She's got to go wide enough with the broom to make sure she gets by the stone at the top of the 4-foot. And that might put her into fresh ice. The front end had their say and then made their way down to the other end. Fujisawa and Yoshida still looking. They come out past the hog line to take a look at how it looked from the hack end. I don't think she can see even a sliver of it to try to go after it directly. Front end is making their way back down now. Looks like they've settled on the draw. Well, that doesn't look like a lot of ice to me. She's got to get by the stone that Jolene just threw. That looks like ice to split center. And if she touches that stone on the way by, it could be hard to spin in enough. On the other hand, she might not want to take too many more inches of ice. She said, as I said earlier, she could be into fresh ice. So throwing the path where she knows the speed. Rushers pick it up early to hold the line out there. Is really going to move from the hog line in. You know, she's getting by the one at the top of the 4-foot. She's going to touch it now. Is it going to spin in far enough? It will not. Jolene Campbell with an outstanding draw on her final stone. Picks up the steal here in the 7th end, and after 7 ends of play, we're all tied up 4 apiece. It'll be Fujisawa with last rock from home.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
All tied up 4 apiece here, coming home. Jolene Campbell with the steal of 1 and 7. We'll be throwing first here to begin play in the 8th. And I think I've seen this where they're going to switch a stone out on the lead for a particular shot. Dana Demmons has had some trouble with those guards today. Another one where she doesn't manage to touch the line, so they can play the tick. And by contrast, Eureka Yoshida has had an outstanding game, makes a tick. Looks that about a foot and a half from the boards, not really protecting much over there. Another Regina to get the guard up. Working on the brush. This time to get it back to the center line. And it does. Almost dead splits it. Looking to come around the center guard now. Got plenty of room coming by. Brings it into the top forefoot, bite the button. One of them stop just in time. You bring that too much deeper, and this freeze has made you might not have a lot of room to throw your last one. For Jolene Campbell, can't worry about moving that now. Just set a freeze right on top of it. You know that the Fujisawa team is going to try to clean things up for a bit. You don't have to worry about moving shot rock yet. You need rocks in a position where they can't get them out. And this one has got a lot of line. Comes down, rubs just off the side of the shot stone, sits in the corner of the forefoot. This allows the Fujisawa team to make a play on the center guard. Ignore that one on the corner of the forefoot for now. They've got a way to get it out. Makes the peel. Rachel Erickson will look to replace the center guard. Not sure that that's the one they were trying to guard, but it works. Guards their own stone for now. It has, if nothing else, made the Fujisawa team think about this a little bit. You could just straight peel that, but then there's a chance that Campbell throws and makes a better guard. That guard where it is really doesn't help them a lot. If everything gets cleared in the middle, you've got the button to draw to with your last one. So they've called timeout. The coach has made the way out. I don't have all of the roster information here with me, but if memory serves, I think it might be JD Lind who is the coach for the Japanese team. I'm not positive on that. They could simply still peel out the guard. But they're looking at what the other options might be here, just because that's not a very good guard for Jolene Campbell. If you peel out the guard, she's going to try to make a better one with the next one. Is there something you can do here to take advantage of the fact that that stone wasn't put in a good spot? So tough for us when they all stand on the backboard and nobody points. We're not sure what they're looking at. There might be room to come with the out turn and try to get directly to the Yellowstone in the rings. I think that might be what they're looking at. And, you know, if you over curl on this and you clip the guard, that's not the end of the world. The only problem I see here is if you make this shot perfect, you probably leave a pocket for them to freeze in, but it is at the top of the 4 foot. When they move that later on, you're still going to have full 4 available with the draw for your last one. Line's got to be close. And actually, they lose it at the end and just rub the guard on the way by. They called the sweep off. I have to think she thought they were going to get a bigger piece of the guard than that. They were going to move the guard. They wanted to move it more than that. Everything they've been discussing so far is coming down to the face of that red stone. There's still 4 stones left to come. You actually could still throw another guard. We're on to third stones here in the 8th end. 8th, and I think we can say probably final end. I don't see a blank coming here. Abby Ackland with her first stone here in this 8th end, looking to freeze the face of that red stone, the shot stone, top of the 4 foot. Really curling if they get there. I don't think they're going to be able to hold the face of that red stone. Completely over curled. Leaves a chance for Shinami Yoshida to play the double on the 2 yellows. Probably loses the shooter, and she's probably fine with that. On the brush right away. Boy, if it's over curls, she could jam it. Catches the second one. Then on the second, roll it out and keeps her shooter in play. Abby Ackland being asked to try that freeze one more time. Lots of room this time, and maybe a little strong, so they're trying to sweep it through the port. Rubs off the red stone, and it's up a third behind the red at the top of the 8-foot. Still, it is a short angle run. The problem is if you happen to stick the run, you leave a pocket at the top of the button. I'd like to hit this almost right on the nose, kill the two of them, and not leave a pocket. The other option that might be there, and I don't think they looked at it, is if you could ever hit a third of the red stone, drive it across the yellow, have it come across, clip the back end of that stone on the button, and maybe move it out of the button area. Pretty close to dead stuffing it. If Jolene Campbell can get the inside corner frozen on the shot stone, there's no way for Fujisawa to get it out on one stone. Jolene looking at tapping it. I don't think you ever want to move this on your first one. Put it right there. She can't get it out. I don't think there's any chance she guards it because you've got stuff you can run back in there. Jolene Campbell, with her last stone in the 7th, made an outstanding draw to set up the steal. Needs a very similar draw. That one last end was an open draw to the top 4-foot. She needs that same kind of weight here to get the freeze. Really starting to curl. She needs to stay on the broom side of this a little bit. And they lost that a little bit. They were waiting for the curl and don't get it deep enough. Fujisawa already sitting 2, but that yellow stone that was just delivered is probably the most dangerous stone to her. She could make a play on it, just pick it out. Jolene Campbell would have to move something with her last one, and you should have a fairly open shot. She's looking at the draw. The only way you leave Jolene an easier shot or a more dangerous shot is to ignore this stone. It's the one that can hurt you. Just pick it out. Jolene Campbell has to move that stone at the top of the button to get shot rock. And then you're going to have room to get hers out. Makes the hit, comes across, catches her own stone, but shooter stays there. The fighter could matter. The easiest shot for Jolene is to hit and roll in front of the red like that, which is just indicating. And then with that biter in the 12 foot, you could still blast everything out, probably get the win that way. She looked at playing the hit and roll behind the corner, but I don't think she would still be shot rock if she was buried. You'd love to be able to hit that redstone, roll to the corner, freeze, but not kill the redstone you're going to hit first. The problem is to roll at 2 feet that flat, you're going to have to hit it hard enough to kill it. Campbell team and Jolene herself have made some outstanding hit and rolls so far in this game. Needs one more here to have any kind of chance in the 8th end. Starting to curl now. Over curl on them. She'll get the nose hit. She does have shot rock. All Satsuki Fujisawa is going to have to do is make that stone go away. Even if her shooter comes across and kills her own, she's still got that fighter over the edge of the 12 foot. Just needs the single point here for the win. With the nose, you can pick up 3. Rusher's cleaning this right from the release. She will make the hit, stays there. It goes into the books as a 7-4 final. Satsuki Fujisawa winning her opening game here in the Saville Shootout. Jolene Campbell taking the loss. Both teams will be on the ice again tomorrow morning as they finish off round-robin play through the next couple of days. But, we've got some other finals here already in this afternoon draw. Jessica McCartney now married, lost to Momomo Tabata 9-2. Yunji Gim over Kaylee McNamee. That was a 7-1 final. Robin Silvernagel 5-1 over Kate Cameron. And the other game that started at 3 still in play in the 8th end. It is Kitazawa, a 5-3 lead over McMacken right now as they play in the 8th end. And the other 5 games were all the games that started at 4-3. Michelle got with a 2-0 lead over Selena Sturmey. Mila Plett, a 3-1 lead right now over Taylor Reese-Hansen. Tabitha Peterson and Caitlin Laws tied at 1 apiece. Terry Anderson with a 2-0 lead early over Corinne Brown. And Gracelyn Richards, a 2-1 lead right now over Serena Gray Withers. We want to thank you for joining us here this afternoon in Curling Stadium, Edmonton. We will be with you all weekend long through to the championships on Monday. Live action across all sheets, all day, every day. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again later on tonight.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
I got goosebumps. The match isn't even close to starting, and I'm so proud that in a small way we were part of helping these guys, and these guys are two great young men. So to me, it's a win for American tennis tonight.
And when you were running, they were in Boca. I remember way back in the day, Francis won the Orange Bowl. So he's like 3-4 months younger than Taylor. He was always playing up. He won the Orange Bowl when he was like 15. He actually started to play on the Pro Tour a little bit before Taylor. So, I mean, when you have a group, it's so much easier than having one solo guy. And I feel like now that what Francis said the other day, when you usually got to the quarters, and if you were facing one of the big three, you were looking at plane reservations. They're not playing them here. So it's a big difference, and belief is a lot more for these guys.
How many years have you and I been getting the question, Brad, when's the next American going to win a big? We got a bunch of good guys, but we're sick of it too, and we're not out there with them. So to us, and I think to everyone that's a fan of American tennis, this is a celebration night.